Welcome back to Reddit or Regret It. I'm Theo, and today we're talking about insecurity and how it shows up between people. Because insecurity isn't just a personal issue, it affects your partner, your friends, and the boundaries you're willing or not willing to set. 3 stories, 3 situations, let's get into it. So the first one is titled, Boyfriend is very insecure, how do I tell him that it's making me uncomfortable? My boyfriend and I have been together for just about 2 years. I'm 23 and he's 25. Over time, his insecurities have become more apparent. I think probably because he's more comfortable telling me these things now. He's insecure about almost everything. His looks, his abilities, his weight. No matter what, he finds a way to criticize something about himself. I don't want to be mean, but it's become really hard to deal with. It's off-putting, not in an angry way, but in an upsetting, draining way. What makes it hard is that none of the criticisms are true. Not objectively, not even subjectively. From my point of view, he's amazing. And when someone I see as incredible talks about themselves like that, it makes me question my own accomplishments too. I wasn't aware how deep this insecurity ran at first because he has dark humor. I thought it was all just jokes, but it wasn't. I can't even compliment him without him immediately saying something negative. And I mean the kind things I tell him. I show him I mean them. He's been in therapy before, but he said he's had bad experiences and doesn't want to go back. The thing is, he's objectively good looking, he's intelligent, funny, kind. Compared to him, I feel like I'm bottom of the barrel. So I don't understand how he feels this way when it looks like he has everything. Is it fair to tell him that it makes me uncomfortable when he talks so negatively about himself? Because it hurts, especially when none of it's true. Am I the asshole? Okay, so I'm gonna read through these comments first and then I'll offer my take. Okay, so the first comment says, have an honest, open conversation with him. Let him know that you picked and continue to pick to be with him and that it upsets you when he's so self-deprecating. Also tell him that when you're giving him an honest compliment, that it feels bad when he dismisses it out of hand. He probably does have some body dysmorphia, but unless he wants to fix it, nothing will happen. Be prepared to either deal with this or move on. One other comment, I think he's confiding in you to vent, but to also process. I feel bad that he makes you uncomfortable because in my opinion, I think he really needs you here. How do you usually address or handle his insecurities when he expresses them? OP responds, we talk about it. I listen and reassure him and remind him of all the good things about him. I don't mind the venting. It's more that he's always talking negatively about himself no matter the situation. So my first thought here is that never mad at somebody for having insecurity. Never mad at him for maybe finding flaws in himself. But y'all can't even have a conversation. You're doing relationship things. If you have a partner, you're going to compliment them. You're going to say positive things about them because you're attracted to them. You want this connection. You desire this connection. But every time you say something positive about him, he's dissing it. He's basically disregarding, diminishing you in a sense because you're the other half of this relationship. And to me, it's taking all the fun and the pleasantries out of what a relationship is. I feel like I should be able to compliment and show love to my partner. That's the whole point. So if I can't even do that, what is the point? And every time I do it, I'm basically being told I'm wrong. That's only gonna make me resent you and be more irritated with you, which is what's happening right here. My biggest issue here for the OP is that there's a bunch of emotional labor now that he has to do to address his partner's issue. And we can be there emotionally for our partners and for friends, but for it to be a constant, like it's basically not a turn off switch. We are constantly going to be massaging your issues with yourself every hour of every day, no matter what I do, no matter what positivity I try to bring into the moment, when it is with regard to you, you're going to diminish it and you're going to say no to it. So now I have this emotional labor of trying to manage what I can say, what I can't say, how to make sure you feel good or you don't feel good. How do I manage around that every time? That just seems like an Olympic sport that nobody's trying to do. I don't think it's your job as a partner to take on the full emotional labor to manage his insecurities. I think he does need to go to therapy. And I do think that he needs to be open to really addressing what the deeper issue is because there's something deeper. Now, I get body dysmorphia as a gay man. We all have it. I have it. You know, we go through those ups and downs. But when it comes to most other things, and even my body, when I'm working out and it's lit and somebody tells me I have a good nice body, I'll be like, thank you, boo. Like, I'm going to receive it. I think you need to have a conversation. You need to let him know it makes you uncomfortable because he has comfort in doing it to you. Even if it's not super conscious, it's starting to make you feel insecure. You're starting to drag me down. And I definitely think energy transfers. And one thing I hate, especially when it comes to men and therapy and just like things that are useful, if it didn't work once, you're not doing it. If you are somebody that actually goes to therapy, we've all had therapists we did not like. Therapists are human just like anybody else. They may not be the best at their job, so you may have to find a better therapist. But That doesn't mean you don't have an issue that needs to be addressed by a professional. So all I have to say is my verdict is NTA. I do not think you are the asshole here. I think you are doing what you need to do. I understand that you love him and you like him, all the things, but if you take all these routes, you talked about therapy, you discussed it with him yourself, and then you have this conversation where it makes you feel uncomfortable, and if he still doesn't want to seek therapy or really try to address this issue, then I really do think you do need to leave him. Y'all are still also very young. You're 23, he's 25. Y'all are young to me. Like, I think that's still very young for you to be working through this with him. He's still on his journey of finding himself and having a better understanding of himself. Me at 23, 25 is way different than I am now, and I'm about to turn 35 in a couple months. So I definitely think, like, you guys may just be at different paths. You just may be more confident in how you manage yourself and manage your insecurity, and he's not. He just may need more time to get through that growth and heal. But that's not your job. I definitely think your 20s are for you to focus on, and you should not be doing all this work to manage somebody else's emotions and feelings and how they feel about themselves. So that's my tea on that. I definitely think NTA. Let me know your verdict in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. All right, story number 2, trauma dumping. Am I the asshole for telling a guy to stop dumping his trauma onto me and go see a therapist? I'm 29 and have an acquaintance who's 31. We met at university, we went on a drink, maybe a date, but it didn't go anywhere. After that, he would message me occasionally, like one day of texting every 6 months, and every time he would overshare. He talked about his struggles with self-acceptance, being gay, faith and sexuality, whether he could be straight. I tried to give guidance where I could, but I kept my distance. Honestly, it was exhausting. A few weeks ago, he messaged me saying he was moving back and wanted to meet up. I agreed. A pint of beer never hurt anyone. At first, he seemed like he was in a better place, but the conversation quickly turned into, again, mostly about him. After 2 or 3 hours, I decided to go home alone. After that, the nonstop texting started. Again, the same topics, self-acceptance, whether being gay is a choice. At first, I explained politely. I told him, I'm not a psychologist, at best, I'm a friend. He kept messaging anyway. So eventually, I told him to stop and to go see a therapist because I'm not getting paid for this. Am I the asshole? Okay, so let's get into these comments. Comment 1. You're never the asshole for standing up for yourself and putting your comfort first. There's only so much advice you can give a person before it's clear he just wants to dump his own BS onto you and doesn't care about fixing his issues. Next comment. I had to do this with a friend as well. Ultimately, you have to put your own well-being and mental health first. If he's a true friend, he'll understand. As a gay man, I've experienced a lot myself. That's why I literally picked this Reddit story because I relate so much to it. I've had so many friends and dudes I dated that would trauma dump all the time. Mainly dudes I dated, but friends too. When you have like an approachable vibe, people like to trauma dump on you. So my thought here is I definitely think he's NTA here. I do not think that it's his job to receive trauma dumps. Yet again, it's not our job to manage people's insecurity. If you are second guessing your sexuality, that's another deep issue that a therapist could only address. So how can I address that for you? If you're second guessing if gay is a choice, who cares? If you want to sleep with a man, you want to sleep with a man, who cares if it's a choice or not? If that's what you want, that's what you want. So what is us figuring out the history of LGBTQ and it's being gay as a choice? Like what matters if you still want to go sleep with a man tonight? What does it matter? Also, he's trauma dumping on you and y'all barely friends. Y'all talk every 6 months. This isn't even like a real legit friendship, but he wants to trauma dump on you because he knows that you're gay and that you should have the answers for him because you're gay. You had a boundary. You told him, I'm a friend at best. I'm not a psychologist. He just jumped over that boundary. He said, I don't care. I'm going to jump over that and I'm going to still continue to ask for advice and talk to you about all of this because I don't care. For me, it would have been blocked. It would have been blocked or I would have been ghosting him because it's like, you don't listen to what I say, you're not listening to a boundary, then I'm not listening to you. That's when I will ghost you. That's when I will ignore you or won't pick up the call. Also, it's not even like, oh, he needs advice for some trivial thing. He's trying to address his identity conflict. He's questioning of who he is as a person when it comes to sexuality. Why do you think I have the tools to assist with that? That is some deep philosophical, oh my God, that's like a breakthrough moment you have in therapy. Girl, I cannot help you with that. You literally jump over my boundary. You don't respect me. And that's why ultimately, NTA, that's my verdict here. I think that I would handle this similarly, and I definitely would have cut him off and ghosted him towards the end. So let me know what your verdict is. Okay, so this story is titled Open Relationship Boundary. I'm in an open relationship, and it's my first one. There are parts of it that I like, but there's also parts that I really struggle with. It's not that my partner sleeps with other people, it's that there's one specific person who makes me feel awful. When my partner sleeps with him, my heart actually hurts. I feel sad and insecure for days. When it's anyone else, those feelings last maybe an hour and then they pass. Even when my partner is just hanging out with friends, part of me worries that he actually is sleeping with this guy. He knows how jealous this makes me feel. He knows how insecure it makes me. What messes with me is this. If I were sleeping with someone who made my partner feel this way, I stop immediately. But I don't know if that's how I am or if I'm being unreasonable. I don't want to be controlling, but also I don't know how long I can live like this. Am I wrong if I ask him to stop sleeping with this one person because it really hurts me? Okay, so first comment. You're not in the wrong in the slightest. Open doesn't mean it's a free-for-all with no restrictions. Jealousy is going to pop up occasionally when you're in an open relationship. It's important to recognize it so you can talk about it and figure out a way to address it that both of you are happy with. There are a few ways to deal with jealousy. Focusing on your primary relationship and holding off on extracurricular fun for a bit is one way. Asking your partner not to sleep with certain people is another. There's no right or wrong way to do an open relationship, and every couple will handle them differently. Good communication is the one thing that all successful open relationships have. Your feelings matter, so talk about a solution for them together. The OP responds and says, "Thank you. I've always been monogamous, and this arrangement is hard for me. I realize that when we have breaks from sleeping with someone else, I kind of forget that we are open and I'm much happier." He was upfront about being non-monogamous, but mentioned he's gone from an open to a closed relationship in the past. Okay, so to me, this isn't about controlling the guy. This is about just protecting yourself emotionally, and you are getting triggered and upset by him sleeping with someone that you don't feel comfortable with, and you yourself says this is something you wouldn't do to him. And the fact that he knows it makes you insecure and he doesn't want to change that or he doesn't care how it affects you shows me that I don't even think you should be with him, to be honest. And honestly, he knows that you kind of are leaning more into the monogamous part of the relationship than him. I just think ultimately, I'm not saying it's wrong for him to want to sleep with this person if that's something he really wants to do and that's why he wants to be in an open relationship. But ultimately, he's not respecting how it makes you feel. So I think that's a bigger issue that to me would give pause and for me to decide that I wouldn't want to be in a situation like that. Honestly, you said you don't think you can live with this. If it's something you can't live with, if it bothers you that much, then there's really no flexibility. Either he has to stop or you guys can't really move forward. I think also you need to really reevaluate. Do you really want to be in an open relationship? You say how you enjoy the time when you're not. And it just sounds like this is something that's more pressured upon you. And I know I talk about this all the time in open relationships, but it seems like there's always somebody who wants to do it way more than the other. And I feel like if it's not truly mutual, then you have these issues that come up. And like the commenter said, I think there's no perfect way to have an open relationship, but I definitely think there should be more of a mutual stance and more of something that doesn't feel like you're giving something up. It doesn't feel like this big, strong sacrifice. And right now, it's you saying you don't think you can live like this. I feel like it's a huge sacrifice that you are putting on yourself for this relationship. And ultimately, sometimes jealousy is information. Sometimes jealousy isn't just this thing that's trying to control you and make you a bad person. If you feel some type of way and if it's a negative feeling and it just doesn't make you feel good, you can't control that. And ultimately, being jealous when you already are in an open relationship makes sense. I think managing your jealousy and regulating those emotions is key because if one dynamic of this open relationship really hurts you, it's worth addressing. And that's why open relationships, they're kind of difficult because there is a lot of communication that has to happen, especially when it comes to jealousy. When it comes to specific rules and boundaries, you have to discuss the things that bother you or it just can become a really big mess. And you want to get ahead of that mess. And if something really bothers you and he's not willing to change and that's like something that truly causes you pain every day or every week, then you're going to have to let him go and move on. And I don't think you're being controlling. You're saying something is really causing me pain, it's causing me hurt. But I will say though, if he decides to not stop sleeping with this person and you continue to stay with him, then ultimately you're starting to hurt yourself because you can't control him, you can't control what he does. At the end of the day, you only control yourself. So that's my thoughts there. I definitely do not think this person is the asshole. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think on all of these stories. Please let me know your verdicts. Insecurity is one of those things, if it's not contained, it truly leaks into how we communicate, how we assume things, and how we either do feel safe or don't feel safe with each other. If you've been in any of these situations, I totally get it. But always pay attention to impact because the people around you end up carrying a lot of this insecurity too. Drop your verdicts in the comments and tell me what you would have done. Read it or regret it. I'll see you guys on the next one, and always make sure you read responsibly.